Hurry up!
Hey, you're watching Time Attack,
the only video game show on the internet.
and we have just 15 minutes to discuss Donkey Kong Country 3, Dixie's Double Trouble. Dixie's Double Trouble.
Is it Dixie or Dixie Kong? It's right behind you. Dixie Kong's Double Trouble.
Dixie Kong.
You said it wrong. It's okay.
Yeah, I forgot our last name.
So
Terrible.
anyone who watched the last episode saw us gush about Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Conquest. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I compared it to Star Wars. This is the Return of the Jedi of the Super Nintendo Trilogy, as in, it's still pretty good. It still has everything you like, but it's definitely weaker.
I wouldn't say it's weaker.
I would 100% say it's weaker.
It's different. It's very different because it doesn't have that same momentum that the other one did. It's more about exploration, I'm finding.
Okay. This is a complex discussion.
Yeah,
so the overworld, let's start with that. The overworld is exploration.
Yeah.
But I feel like the levels are not, it's not so much exploration, it's almost like really boring puzzle solving.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I find like to get somewhere, you'll have to like throw, what's the baby's name?
Oh, Kitty Kong?
Kitty Kong.
So you should tell the audience.
I haven't played this game in like years, okay? Like I'm going off memory, and I didn't have it. I didn't get to it.
Yeah, we were going to give you the time to play it, but then I thought, maybe that's the discussion. Let's see what the other games are ingrained.
Well, I've played the other two before this, and we want to get these videos out before we have Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. So that's part of the reason.
Yeah, Donkey Kong Country Returns.
So maybe we're not giving it full justice, but from what I remember. Yeah, there isn't like that quick momentum, get to the level really fast. It was kind of like, do this, break that wall with Kitty Kong. And it's very experimental because a lot of the levels are very different from each other.
Well, a big example of what you're discussing is I think it's called Squeals on Wheels. It's got these rats and wheels in the sawmill. And you got this little bar you see throughout, and you got to kill all the rats.
Yeah.
So you got to kind of look around from a little bit. And it's not like it's not a maze, but it's it's not momentum.
No,
like
it's not momentum.
Game.
It's platforming puzzle kind of. Like there is some levels. Like I'm thinking of remember like either in a factory level or a snow level, you're on like that ski-doo kind of thing, and you got to jump on guys. And
it's toboggan. Yeah, that's kind of their minecart in this one. And instead of a roller coaster or a minecart, you got this like sled that there's a snow level, but there's also like these tunnel levels. Mm-hmm. Like it does have its own like again, I don't want to say it's bad. It's got like a nice aesthetic to it.
Oh yeah, like it's very distinct, and I really appreciate it. Like it's very interesting to look at.
I'd say theming's not as good though because it has like this kind of like Canada theme with bears and like snowy peaks and stuff.
Yeah.
But then like the Kremlings are just Kremlings. They're just uglier than before. That's the theme.
They're deformed.
Yeah, like they're just not. The designs are ugly.
They're kind of, you know what they remind me of? A little bit like Woody the Woodpecker or. Some type of some kind of like that kind of feel. I think it's Canadian. You think of a lot of forest, woods, that kind of stuff.
Maybe they're like the Kremlings are like burly. They got like big lower lips.
I don't know.
They're weird looking.
Yeah.
And like a lot of the enemies just look weird.
Yeah. They got kind of that feel.
Like not necessarily like visually they're fine to look at. Just like I think the designs in the first two games are much cooler.
Mm-hmm. But like I don't know. Like it's very interesting. Like one thing that comes to my mind immediately is that level where you're being chased by bees with that music. Like
a swarm by the river.
Yeah, and you got to get through it quick enough so that you beat the wrecker of the bear who gets really angry and starts pounding the ground so hard.
Like to unlock something in the map.
Yeah,
like that was the thing we touched on was like the whole idea that the maps are like in the old game. The old two games, the maps are just like point A, point B essentially.
To the next level, yeah.
Whereas this one, it's like when you're in a boat, you can like explore around, talk to NPCs. There's like minor like kind of trading or subquests to complete to get further in. Mm-hmm. There's secrets to find early on. You hit that beach. And there's that memory game to like unlock a banana bird in a cave.
Yeah. That was like that was always like, whoa, what is this? Like for me, I don't know. Like it was very intriguing to see like what the heck is this? And I remember I didn't realize what was happening. Like my cousin would press all the buttons, and I'm like, how did you do that? It's like, you just gotta press the same buttons that the crystals are represented.
It's like a kind of an illusion. Like there's not that much freedom, but it feels like the whole world is yours to explore. Like I really like the map in this game.
Yeah.
I kind of wish the future games did more of this.
Mm-hmm.
Because like it's kind of like it's different, and it's neat that you can like upgrade your boat to get to different areas.
I think maybe because of the lack of Diddy and Donkey Kong as playable characters or having a prominent role in the game, that it sort of lost its identity. a little bit, because I like it in many ways, but maybe that's why it wasn't so successful. It could have been because the third one, but it feels like, you know, you don't have the guy who stars the show in this whole game.
It's like 2 games in a row. It does feel weird. Like, Kiddy Kong's okay, but he's kind of just a big burly guy like Donkey Kong. Like, I know he's a baby, but he kind of serves that role, right? He's bigger, heavier than Dixie. So I thought it'd be kind of a neat full circle thing if, like, Dixie now teams up with Donkey Kong. Like, you know, you could even throw Diddy in the mix too, but I understand they keep it simple.
Or Cranky Kong gets kidnapped or something. And, you know, like, they all have to work together. Now it's 3 of them instead of like 2 of them or something.
It definitely feels like Donkey Kong could have been in this game. It's not like a deal breaker for me, but it's like, It's...
Now, what were the things you have to collect in this game? Obviously, you have the banana birds, but and you got the bear coins. But I think
there's DK coins as well. They're always attached to that. The shield guy. That's another puzzle element, right?
Another puzzle. You got to figure out how the best way, which I appreciate, but again, it's not as fast. I do like the Kiddy Kong's like bowling, like kind of esque animation for holding a barrel. It looks like he's like ready to bowl. I like that.
But like those coin guys, that is like kind of a downgrade though. Like, he's fun. He should be not every level. That's the problem. Is they feel like they got to put him somewhere, even like a water level. Say, okay, there's got to be a little bit of land at the end just for that guy to stand there, right? And it's like he's a cool idea, but may come up with 1 or 2 other cool ideas and then mix it up a bit. Not that the game has a creativity problem. Like the last game, it has a lot of ideas. I just feel like some of them don't work as good.
I can't remember too many of the bosses. I remember the big robot. I remember the spider. That was like...
You probably remember the first 3. You probably rember the barrel guy.
Oh, you gotta eat the bugs.
His mouth, yeah.
He burps.
The spider's probably the best boss.
Yeah, I remember that being very memorable.
There's like a shrimp guy that comes out of a waterfall and shoots water.
I remember him being that world was very difficult. I remember the water levels, very like intimidating, because it seemed like you were just engrossed in like the
coral reef.
Yeah, and just like you were not supposed to be there. You were invading.
I would say maybe the prettiest water levels.
Oh yeah,
like in general, the graphics in this game are pretty nice. Like I love the early pier levels over the lake. The water's gorgeous, and then especially like.
Stop the clock. We need a few seconds to talk about today's sponsor. Gallisto is the trusted marketplace for collectors. It doesn't matter if it's video games, action figures, comics, or cards. If it's collectible, you'll find it on Gallisto. Available through the App Store or Google Play, Gallisto is the perfect tool for both buyers and sellers. Users and listings are always verified, and the service offers some of the lowest selling fees on the market. Not only that, you can use the app to scan collectibles you own or things you're interested in buying. It's a marketplace and an online collection rolled into one. Talk about handy. But hey, don't take my word for it. Head over to Gallisto.com and see for yourself.
I love the early pier levels over the lake. The water's gorgeous. And then especially like the waterfall areas are probably the best in the game, like the mountainy waterfall areas.
Yeah.
The soundtrack in this game is a little weaker.
No, not David Wise this time.
I think he might have helped a few tracks. I'm not sure. At the very least, you could feel his spirit in it.
It's good. It's a good soundtrack.
It's a good soundtrack. It's weaker, but I think the waterfall mountain level, whoever the tracks that play there are really good. Like, and then some of the aquatic themes are really good too. So at its best, it does compare, but just not always at its best, I find.
And it's hard to say why that is. It could be subjective. Maybe there's an objective view to it. Maybe it's not the same composer, so then we're not hearing that same flavor we had from the other 2 games.
It is subjective, but I think you'd be hard pressed to find someone who prefers the soundtrack in this game.
It doesn't mean we're correct. It's just we all feel the same way.
We can only share our own opinions, right?
Yeah.
Just like there are people who will like comment down below, this is actually the best Donkey Kong Country. It improves on everything Donkey Kong Country 2 did. That game's overrated. And like, you're wrong, but it's your opinion.
What was the special? Were there special levels in this game? I can't remember. Like, I know how we had in Donkey Kong Country 2, you had the jungle, like primal kind of levels.
Yeah, I'm a little foggy on that one too. I think you do unlock like bonus levels.
But man, I cannot remember.
Well, there are mini games still.
Mini game. Oh,
like to get the coins.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Pretty
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. I think so. I can't remember what
That's
that looked
definitely
like,
an element where I would have benefited from a replay. Like again, I played this like you. I played this one less because I got it later in life.
Oh, you know what was kind of cool was when you could beat, I think, some levels differently, and then a different path would open up because you got the world map. But when you go into any of these places, then you got another map in there, and then there was different branching paths within there, which was kind of cool.
They were very limited if there were.
I thought there was a couple places.
You might be right. I just
something.
feel like that was kind of a thing I noticed. It was like the overworld's very open, but then once you go in the levels, like the worlds themselves, it is pretty much just business as usual.
You remember those monkeys that would be in the woods?
Throwing coconuts, yeah, and you got the shields.
Yeah.
That's a good example of what I was talking about the last episode of like the design philosophy of like we add these monkeys in. At first you just gotta kind of like dodge them. Then they add the moving shield because it's like impossible. And then they have them come like multiple shields on both sides. You gotta time up when they line up. It just gets harder and harder and harder. And then you never see it again, which is cool. I like that idea.
Yeah, it's different. Like I think there's more variety in what kind of things you're doing in this game than the other two. Because every level in the other two, it's momentum. You're moving. You're getting fast. You're powering through.
Argue,
this one, it's like you don't know what you're doing. Like you get into one level, you're like you gotta figure it out. How do I get out of this thing? Or
you might be exaggerating, but I would argue that DKC 2 has just as much variety. It's just that in this game, some of the gimmicks aren't as good. Like there's one where you gotta like hang on levers and like doors open up. And then you gotta like get through the door before it shuts.
Yes.
And like it's all right, but it's not that much fun. And there's one too with another one I think of that comes to mind is Ellie the elephant has to like suck up those barrels and like put them in the water.
Yep.
Oh, and the worst one with Ellie the elephant.
And throw the barrel in the water to get across the water.
Another the Shining example. I can't believe I didn't say this one first.
The rats?
The rats.
Yeah.
She gets spooked by the rats.
I thought that was good. And then if you're in the dark, again, it's not about momentum. It's about platforming and puzzle solving more.
It's not even a puzzle. It's just like it's just slowing you down and doesn't need to be. It's not a very fun gimmick.
It's more. I'd say it's. I'm conflicted to say that. Oh, see that's not fun. But then in another aspect, I'm like, it's neat.
Well, it's not.
It's very
neat.
But it takes away from again that momentum. Like you're gonna stop. Oh. You got to, and then you immediately go backwards.
So in the same game, there's one of my favorite levels is Confused Cliffs, where you're climbing a rope up a mountain.
Yeah,
but it's lit on the bottom like a fuse.
Oh, okay.
And that's a cool gimmick. You got to keep moving. And there's a few good ones like that where it's just like
or the saw at the bottom.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's memorable.
I guess I love levels that make you go fast.
Yeah,
but there are other good gimmicks throughout. It's just that
one I couldn't stand was it's not I couldn't stand. It just this really took me out of it. Was the one where you're like in this gas chamber and you have like gravity changes.
Both the gas chamber ones. There's that and the reverse control one.
And again, I say it's a different kind of challenge. It's like maybe the developers were like, we've already mastered and pushed like how fast we can make this game, kind of like in the momentum and speed. Let's now force these people to like slow down and have to do more methodical decision making and platforming, which unfortunately might not have been that fun compared to the other two.
I would be surprised if that was like a conscious decision. It might just be the result of their gimmicks. I don't know. You might be right. I'm not saying you're wrong.
Because it's very like that's what you see as a theme in this game. It's not like those are just a couple outliers. It feels like a lot of the levels are just you can move fast, but it's like the levels are meant to slow you down. You're not supposed to just rush through it. You're supposed to kind of explore underneath that dock. You're supposed to go underneath this thing to chase. Oh yeah, those hummingbirds that would sometimes come.
Yeah,
and I can't remember. Like and then you jump on them. Like it's different.
I do feel like a lot of levels do fall within that classic strategy though. Like there are things that should slow you down when you get around. Like say like the lightning one, where lightning bolts are coming down. You can maneuver around them. You know, it's not like they're obstacles, but they're not slowing you down like as much as like killing the rats is. You know, so it's like I don't know. And then like even like the bosses are not great, like, except for like there's a couple like Spider's good, the Barrel's good, like you're saying. Yeah. But then even K. Rool's like kind of lame in this one.
I don't remember having fun or that feeling of like excitement.
Because he's not really attacking you in this one. He's like floating around the room and he like activates the floor, which is like electricity. Yeah. But like he's not like coming at you or shooting you, you know?
It's not as epic of a battle.
No.
Yeah.
It's like, just in general, a lot of things fall flat or flatter than they should, rather.
Strangely. Yeah. It just,
But there's a lot to like. I don't want to be too negative. Like I like
no. This is like make it stand clear. It is a good game, but it just I don't enjoy it as much as the other ones, unfortunately. But it's got its own style. It is memorable for all the different things, like its design, its gameplay. They decide it's pretty bold to like not have Donkey Kong or Diddy in it. Like as you play, like we build a connection with those two characters, and now it's like
Well, and then also taking Rambi and replacing him with Ellie the elephant, which is like
animals are gone too.
Well, they're there, but they're weird.
Well, they're not the same animals.
Well, they're still squawks. They're still on guard.
Is there?
But then you got I think it's Perry the parallel bird. You might not remember this one. It's this little tiny crate you find. This little bird comes out and it flies above you at a certain distance.
And then what does it do?
It collects things. So if you're walking along,
and it might peck certain enemies.
It gets those robins.
Yeah, the fat
robins. Yeah. And then like if it hits anything else, it dies instantly. So you gotta try
and you have to puzzle. Jump. You gotta figure out how to get that thing.
I think it's a stretch to call that a puzzle though. It's more just like you gotta think us for a second. It's not a riddle. It's more just like you gotta stop and think about for a second.
For this kind of thing, I would say it's not a. I feel like maybe I'm wrong when thinking that, but it's like it's methodical. You're not just rushing through it. You're like, oh no, crap! I gotta jump here.
But
to
Terry,
get them over there.
Specifically, this gimmick is usually like for bonus stuff. It's not something you have to do. You could probably just soar right past it. So that's it for the Donkey Kong-a-thon.
Yep, all 3 Super Nintendo Donkey Kong Country games.
And we'll be playing Donkey Kong Country Returns again in HD soon.
Yep, or I'll just play it on the Wii because I've heard not so good things.
Well, hey, I think if these videos are a hit and people want more, there's 3 more Donkey Kong Country-esque games to play.
Well, let us know. Do you like this stuff? Like and subscribe to our channel if this is something good, because we're only, as of right now, at 363 subscribers. So if we can get to 500, that'd be kind of cool. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, 363 of these will come out. Well, maybe. Yeah. Maybe.
Well, as of right now, as it is recorded.
This second.
Which could possibly still remain by the time it comes out. Which we hope not, that not being the case. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next one.
Hey, 1 second. I got a question for the audience.
Whoa.
What is your favorite Donkey Kong Country game? I'd say across all of them, but specifically the Super Nintendo Trilogy.
Yeah, we're just thinking about the first 3.
Yeah, and why? Let us know down below. We actually do want to know because we have this.
And maybe we'll make a video based on those comments if we get enough or mention them. So we'll see.
All right.
Bye.
Time over!